My mom and Connor's mom are in a launch room. All right, everyone. To say the last 14 months have been a challenging time is a huge understatement. We all know that. You know, our schools lost the ability to compete, and our students didn't get a chance to have a spring season last year, but we regained that ability through the ever-changing guidelines. Through it all, we have learned a great deal about, the students have learned a great deal about themselves and what it means to be part of something bigger than themselves. The last 14 months have been about learning to compete for all of us, learning to compete through adversity, learning to sacrifice our wants and needs for the betterment of our group. Those are valuable lessons for our students that many times get lost in the wash when you look at statistics, wins, and losses. So tonight is our opportunity to recognize those who have risen above the challenges and have represented our school teams with grace, dignity, and grit. It is my honor to welcome all of you to the 2021 Spartan Athletic Awards Night, sponsored by our Booster Club. First, we will have Mrs. Vicki Canuck. Come on up.
Booster Club. On behalf of the Booster Club, I'd like to thank you for coming tonight and attending, but most of all, continuing to support our students and the activities that they're involved in. I think I speak for all of us when I say they continue to make our school and our community proud. When the Booster Club began to discuss potential speakers for the Spartan Awards night, right away one name came to my mind, and his name is Dean Furness. Dean was a Central College classmate of mine and a Central College football teammate of my husband's, as well as a classmate and a teammate of several other individuals who are in this room this evening. He is a graduate of Roland Story High School and Central College and currently lives outside of Martinsdale, which is in the Martinsdale-St. Mary School District. Since college, Dean has encountered some challenges in his life, but he has chosen to deal with them and has been an inspiration to so many. He knows a few things about grit and determination and what it takes to keep moving through daily challenges, and he's been sharing that insight with people around the world. In 2020, he was selected as a TED Talker, a TED Talk speaker, which for those of you who are not familiar with TED Talks, they are short, influential videos from expert speakers who speak about a multitude of things from science to global issues to education. And they're meant to share ideas and spark conversation. Additionally, those TED Talks are distributed all over the world. They're published with subtitles in over 100 languages, so there is a broad reach. And in 2020, like I said, Dean was selected as a TED Talk speaker. Dean's TED Talk was released a year ago and was one of the top 20 most viewed in 2020 with over 3 million views. Fortunately for us, Dean has agreed to share some of his insights with us, and it's my pleasure to introduce tonight's keynote speaker, Dean Furness.
It's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm pretty excited, and thanks to Vicki for putting this together. We tried this about a year ago, and didn't quite get it pulled off, as you know, and I'm just happy to be around. Again, my name is Dean Furness. I come to you from a small town in Martinsdale, just south of Des Moines. I've been married 23 years with my wife, Dion, and I have 3 incredible daughters. My youngest is a junior in high school. And, aside from that, I help coach our girls' high school basketball team as well. I'm a computer geek by trade. I work for Wells Fargo. I'm a Flying Dutchman, so I'll never forget that. And I think maybe what's more exciting for me is that I compete in marathons around the country. So, there's something to that story, right? And we'll get to my accident after a bit, but what I would like to share tonight has less to do with my accident and more about what happened after that, the events that took place after that. And in my opinion, it has a lot more to do with, you know, those events that happen in your life that are good or bad, and what you do with them and what comes next. And a big part of what goes on in my world and my family is really based on that word next and how quick you can move on to those things. And so hopefully tonight you can understand it and maybe embrace that as well and elevate yourselves to something that's going to be really incredible. And so to get started, I want to share a little story. And it really kind of starts in the fall of 1990. I was a freshman wide receiver on the Central College football team. It was the first 2 weeks of practice, and some of the guys can attest here, I was a pimple-faced little runt. I maybe weighed 160 pounds, and I couldn't bench press 160 pounds. But I was on the team, right? And I was one of 100 guys on the team, and I was a part of something that was bigger than myself. And in that first year, and really the 3 years to follow, I remember so many stories and so many just things that were pretty vivid about it. In fact, we were sharing stories out here with some of the guys earlier tonight. But the thing that was really interesting is I remember the names. I remember names like Wise and Lynn and Schmadke and Kat and Oswald and all these guys that were bigger than life on the team. And the thing is that our culture forced us on that team to know each other's names. The first 2 weeks we had to stand up and introduce ourselves, our mom's name, our girlfriend's name, and where we were from every night. And we were forced to know each other's names because we all had a role. We all had a part in that scenario. Well, there was one name in particular that kind of gave me my first lesson at Central College football, and his name was Devin Embry. And some of you guys won't know that name, obviously. Well, Devin was a tight end. He was probably 6'2" or 3", and I would guess 230 pounds. And there was a day in practice where he came across the line and went across the middle to catch a pass. And when the ball arrived, so did the linebacker, and the collision was just ridiculous. And I remember a bunch of us freshmen on the side being thankful we weren't in that play, because all of us were like, "Ooh, that was bad." And sure enough, those 2 guys had to sit out a couple of plays. And the lesson I learned was to never go across the middle when a guy named Ron Sock was playing linebacker. Just what it is. And so, the thing about that that's interesting is I bet if you asked Ron, he probably doesn't remember that day, right? Or that practice. Maybe he does. It was a big hit. But the point is that it was just normal for him to do that sort of thing in practice. It was a regular thing. And a lot of the upperclassmen on that team were the same way. It was just an average practice for them to do things that as freshmen we thought were out of this world. And because of that, we were really, really successful. I think in the 4 years I was there, we were 36-5 as a team. It was just ridiculous. But that was a regular team for us. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. And I think what's interesting is that as the culture of the team brought itself around, you know, it became very normal for everybody to perform that way. And as freshmen, those of us that did the ooh on that big play, we hadn't figured that out yet. We hadn't realized that we were part of such a big, big program. We hadn't found our role. Well, as that year went on, we certainly found our footing. We ended up, you know, finding our place. And I know for me, I had bought in, right? I was all in. Even at 160 pounds, I was coming back. I couldn't wait. I had survived that first year, and I was looking forward to what was next. And so that's really, for me, the foundation of a lot of what I can do in my wheelchair. So much of what I do in my wheelchair is based on what I learned and went through in those college years and so on. And it really kind of brings me back to what you have here, right? When you look around, and the basic question I have for you is what's average for Grundy Center? Right? The things that you have achieved, right? Is it really kind of regular for you? And I think that's really cool. And as an outsider, it's kind of nice, right? So I watch the news, I'm on the web, I'm on Quick Stats, making sure that Coach Lindemann knows what he's doing with the girls, right? Being that I coach girls too, right? And it's interesting how I'm sure I'm not the only outsider that's taking a peek at what's going on here. I bet you that some of your competition is as well. And you should smile about that, right? They're looking up to you and they're really starting to try to aspire to be like you. But I'd be smiling because they're wasting time looking at you instead of looking at themselves. And every day that they're trying to be what you are is a day they're wasting trying to fix their culture and to make themselves better. And as a result, they're never going to catch all of this up here. As long as you don't also do the same and you keep focusing on you. Now what's really cool about all that, it's really not about athletics, right? It's about life and all the other activities that are going on. I was in the band, I love the band, did really, really well in the band. And I dismiss the level of effort it takes to perform on that stage as well. I remember going to an honor band concert my daughter was in, and in the middle of the performance, the conductor turned around and was going to tell us a story. And he asked us to, asked us a question like, what does it take to get an A in English or math or science? And we all agreed, like, if I miss 5 points on a 100-point test and you get an A, that sound right? All right, so 95 is pretty good, right? So he said, what I've instructed my band members to do is to pick any 5 notes they want in the song and miss them. Squeak, play the wrong note, don't play it, have it be offbeat, whatever. And there are hundreds of notes in the song. But I want to show you what an A performance would sound like. And it was bizarre. It was nothing you would ever give an A to. But the level of preparation, the level of detail that goes into something like that and those other activities is just as impressive as with all of the sports and stuff. Right? So think about that if you apply that to the robotics club, and I see all the academic decathlon work, the preparation and details are just ridiculous to the point where you probably don't even know that you're doing it because it has become normal for you. It's become average for you. So think about what would happen if your football team just decided to miss 5 plays, or the golf team shanked a couple shots just because. A lot of these things probably wouldn't be here. And I think it's just important to think about that level of effort and that preparation that you're on, and then what you can do with it. Because I think you're going to be able to springboard into some crazy places once you realize where you're at and where you take it from there. Now, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I learned it the hard way. This wheelchair is something that I was introduced to about 10 years ago. We have 10 acres of land down in Martinsdale, and I married into this thing called a horse family, which maybe some of you have had that pleasure as well. But one night in December in 2011, I went out to feed our horses, and I put a large bale of hay in the loader, and as I was backing up the loader, backing up the tractor, somehow the hydraulics in the loader got stuck on, and the loader of the tractor went up, and the bale fell off and crushed me in the seat of the tractor, and then bounced down on the ground. And it knocked my hat off, and knocked my glasses off, and I ended up with my legs straddling each side of the center of the tractor, holding onto the steering wheel, just waiting for help. And I didn't lose consciousness or whatever. I knew right away what had happened. My back hurt, I couldn't feel my legs. It didn't take a lot to figure out what was going on. But I was only about 100 feet from the house, maybe the length of this gym even, and I was waiting. And when you're in that situation, you have a lot of time to yell and pray and talk to yourself and do some more praying and do some more waiting. And before long, after about 45 minutes, my wife came out and found me and called for help. And what's really interesting in being in such a small community, the help that showed up were my friends. They were all the volunteer fire department and E&T guys. And so the guys that I would sit in the stands with and watch games were there to help me out. And there was something about that set me down a path of knowing that things were going to be okay. So after a pretty cool helicopter ride to Des Moines, and a couple days later being in the hospital, the doctors finally said, did I lose it? All right, the chances of you walking again are basically zero. It's just not going to happen. And so I fell right back into this waiting around stage. And my wife saw that a little bit and started kind of kicking me in the rear end, saying, you better get going. It's time to get moving. And little did I know, on the back end, she was fighting like crazy to get me transferred to a hospital in Denver that was a specialty spinal cord rehab hospital. Well, when we got that transfer and we arrived, one of the first people I met was my new doctor, who happened to be a paraplegic and in a wheelchair. And again, it kind of set things off, saying things are going to be okay. Now let's talk about rehab a little bit. So in Denver, there was 8 hours of rehab a day, as opposed to the 2 or 3 we had in Des Moines. And that rehab was so busy and full of everything. We would start with waking up, getting breakfast, and we'd go to this place called Fit Class, which was basically cardio and strength training. We would then move to mat class, and they had these big tables and we'd learn how to roll around. Yes, it's hard to roll over when you can't use your legs or your abdominals, and learn how to stretch. And then we had physical therapy and occupational therapy and lunch and then classroom time and driver's ed. And then it went into recreational therapy before we got to wheelchair class. So yes, I said driver's ed, right? So it was somebody's job to get in a car with us and teach us how to drive with our hands, right? And I remember my first day driving down a side street in Denver, and I got passed by a little old lady with a handicap tag. And all we were doing was going to the church to try to figure out how to turn circles and back up. I'll never forget it. You know, the thing about that schedule is that it really wasn't a physical challenge for me. It was And not mental from depression or any of that stuff. But I wanted to do things like I had once done before when I was in my chair. I wanted to lift as hard as I could lift. I wanted to go as fast as I could go. And every time I tried that, I ended up hurting myself and set myself back. And I had to kind of figure that out the hard way. So I did the next best thing. I looked at the guys around me, my new friends, there's 30 of us, and I tried to beat them. Because shoot, if I couldn't compete with what I did before, let's compete with them. And the same thing happened. And it became very prevalent to me that I could only really look at what I was doing and look at myself. And nothing else really mattered. As long as I could get a little stronger each and every day, then I could actually start making some advances. And really what I started talking about and thinking about is that that's my personal average. My average day, if I could make my average day a little better each time out, then I would certainly have a lot better opportunities as I started going along. Well, you can imagine there's some bad days. Imagine trying to be potty trained at 39 years old. Sorry, it happens, right? And all of the pain that you go through and all the spasticity that you go through. And with the schedule like we had, there was no time to sulk. There was another class coming. I had to get cleaned up. I had to get tilted back over. I had to put the pain aside and get moving. And that whole idea of next becomes such a key word for me in that time, right? There's always a next. You have to move on. You have to move on. We coach our basketball girls that if you roll your eyes at the ref, you're going to sit. The ball's gone. We got to move. You got to move on to the next. You got to keep going on. What is next? And it really started setting the stage and elevating things for me. And it became that springboard that I could really launch into. Well, after a while, and 6 weeks are up, the nurses and the doctors and the therapists pulled me aside and said, hey, it's time to go home, you're done. And I said, what are you talking about? I'm not walking, we're not done, what am I going home for? And I said, no, you've done everything that you need to do here, we're going to set you back and you're good. And, you know, getting immersed back into home and community and family and acreage and learning how to live again was a pretty significant setback for me. I once again fell into, I can't do what I was doing before. I can't do the things I was going to do with my friends. And I kind of waffled quite a bit until my friends in the community came to my rescue a little bit. And it wasn't like I was in dire straits or whatever. But the first guy to come forward was our head football coach. He said, you know, I've been asking you to help coach for a long time. And now you have to. And I'm thinking, you played at Simpson. He obviously needs my help. So I said, absolutely, I'll come in and help out. And before that season was over, the head girls basketball coach said, hey, would you come help coach basketball? And I quit doing football after a few years, but I still do basketball now. And it continued from there. And what I found, pretty soon, home life had settled down. My career was back and thriving. And really everything started to go on as it were. And so if you kind of see where I'm going, right, I've got this reborn type average, and I've had to relearn a lot of those things. Well, I was in a good spot, and for about 4 years, I kind of just hung out there. And one day I was taking my daughters to some AAU basketball practice, trying to get them some work, and I saw one of the other dads outside walking after he had dropped his daughter off, and I was thinking, well, shoot, why am I sitting in this gym watching my kids run up and down? Let's do something. And I have this contraption that hooked onto this chair that makes it into a tricycle, and so I started doing some laps in the parking lots. And wouldn't you know, my physical therapist found out about it and said, you know what, you should do a half marathon. And I said, I don't think you understand. My 40 time in college was slow. The worst practice, and I know these guys will agree, the worst practice in my mind for football every year was the first day in a 12-minute run. Why would you ever want to go 12 minutes of running around a track? And so the idea of 13.1 miles was ridiculous. Well, the race was 10 weeks away, and with a little prodding, we found a way to work out, and I tracked everything. Every day I tracked every workout. And as I looked around, there was nobody to compare with. And so that made it even easier. All I had to do was be a little better than I was yesterday. And if I wasn't, that's okay, that's for me. But if I got a little better, I could figure that out. So 10 weeks came around, I finished the race. It was kind of funny to hear how hard people are breathing up and down the hills, and here I am just twiddling along. But especially downhill, downhill's really good for me. And as you get into that, I was hooked, much like football all those years ago. I had found something. And so I took the next step, and I started researching getting into a true racing chair. And maybe you've seen it with some of the track meets and stuff. To get into that kind of a chair, it costs a little bit of money. And I'm 45 years old. I mean, do I really want to try to invest in that without knowing if I can do it? So I did a little research, and I reached out to this guy that that just happened to be the head coach of Team USA's wheelchair racing team. And I said, hey, like I said, I want to get started in this. Do you think I can come over and you can help me out? And that same day he wrote me back and said, come on over next week, I'm free, let's do it. Turns out he's from Mason City, he's the same age as me, former Paralympian, and I'm in the Paralympic training facility for these racers. And he basically says, all right, grab that chair, let's go over here, we'll get you hooked up, and I'm gonna send you home. And I said, wait a second, I need to at least pay you something. He says, no, you don't have to pay me, just let me know when you need help. And you know, it's February, I'm gonna see you in October in Chicago, and we'll do the Chicago Marathon together. I'm like, okay, you're the coach, I can't tell you, I mean, you're the coach, right? And I can't tell you no. So 6.5 hour drive home, come to terms with what I already knew I was going to do. I had to elevate my average a little bit more. And once again, I got back home and got to work. And the first thing I did was start researching how in the world do I even propel this thing down the track, let alone down the street. And YouTube's great for that, but when you search wheelchair racing in YouTube, you get Olympic stuff. And really quick, I realized how fast some of these guys are. I mean, world record holders that are doing an 800 in a minute 30. I mean, just ridiculous speed with these guys. They're doing a marathon in 1 hour and 20 minutes. And it was very, very hard for me to not start the comparison game all over again. Now, I had to remember, I was not going to be in the Olympics. Not a chance. And so very quickly, I dismissed the fact that I was going to even try to compare what they were doing. I was just hoping I'd get to meet some of them someday because I knew that they were at the facility that I'd just come from with the chair. So as we started working and putting things together, I just kept doing what I was doing, working on getting a little better each and every day. And when that race came around and time to meet in Chicago, it was pretty crazy to see those people that I've been watching on YouTube that have how many Olympic medals around their neck. And they were young kids. And the next thing you know, they're asking me about grad school and what their career choice would be. And I'm simply asking them, how do I push on that ring? And it's been this really cool relationship since. And so really that's where things have been for me. The racing thing has turned into about 4 or 5 days a week of 40, 50, 60 miles of training a week. This spring I have 5,000 miles training completed. Been to Chicago multiple times, I've been to Boston. In fact, I'm waiting on an email to go to Boston this year again. Hopefully they'll let me in. And in fact, 6.5 weeks I'll be in Duluth for another race. Thankfully, COVID is gone and we can get in person and do things, right? And so to kind of bring that back around, right? I guess it's best stated for me based on the sign that we have in our dining room. It simply says better than yesterday, stronger than yesterday, right? All of those things put together. And I think if you look around what you have here, you've got something going. You know, it's culture, it's motivation, it's hard work, and you've gotten there because of that consistent hard work. Not because you're looking at your competition, because you're looking at yourself. I'm going to ask you to take that one more step further, and it's not just athletics, right? You're going to get that job interview, and you're going to get that job because of your preparation, right? All you guys are working hard for a reason. But you have to do so without looking at the person next to you and not worrying about their speed or their bench or how smart they are. You worry about you and be just a little better than you were the day before. And if you all do that, right, think about the collective elevation that this community is going to have. All of this stuff up here isn't just going to be as it is. It's going to increase tenfold. And you watch what happens then and how unstoppable you're going to be. And all that Spartan pride stuff is going to be unstoppable too, right? Anyways, I'm excited to see where you go next. Congratulations, everybody. Hopefully you have a great evening here and all that. And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dean, very much. So, as we get to the next piece on the agenda, before I introduce this year's Booster of the Year Award, I'd like to thank all of the supporters of the Booster Club. Your contributions are greatly appreciated by contributions are greatly appreciated, and the funds or the initiatives that you fund could not happen if we didn't have your support. So a few of the projects we've supported this year is Dance Team Palms and Music, a new tent for the cross-country team, Huddle subscriptions for girls and boys basketball, a portion of the new weight room equipment, the new record boards for track and football. If you haven't seen those were recently installed at the stadium. So again, thank you to all of those who contribute. And if you're not a booster member, I encourage you to join next year. So this year's Booster of the Year award is being given to one of our corporate sponsors, Heartland Tire and Auto and Raceway Tire, and their owners, Travis and Teresa Thompson. Unless you pay attention to the Booster Club membership list, or you have auto work done in Knoxville, Waukee, Ankeny, Boone, or Creston, you may not be familiar with Heartland Tire and Auto. Some of you are. Travis and Teresa are very supportive of their home community in Pella, as well as the communities where their businesses are located. And they have a passion for kids and for schools. That passion, as well as their love for their nephews, has driven their decision to generously support the Booster Club and Grundy Center students. I think they take that commitment pretty seriously. I think I saw Travis last week in a Spartan shirt, running hurdle jockey at the track meet. So thanks, Travis. And we are fortunate to have Heartland Tire and Auto and Raceway as a part of the Spartan family. And on behalf of the Booster Club, we would like to say thank you as we present this award for you to Booster of the Year.
Gary's my brother-in-law. I got Logan and Dylan and Justin over here. Austin's at Central. But Teresa and I really, we had the opportunity to play sports in high school. We had the opportunity to play sports at Central College. Was able to play with Dean Fernandez. Dean's such an inspiration. Amazing what you've done with your life, Dean. Matt Lindemann's over here, Gary. So a lot of Central athletes are still here. But one thing that Teresa and I really push on student athletes is remember that you're doing this not to be a basketball player for the rest of your life or a football player for the rest of your life. You're doing this to learn life lessons. You're doing this to learn commitment, roles and responsibilities, leadership, dedication, communication. Those are the skills that you're going to take with you when you go work in the working world. They're not going to ask you, can you dribble between your legs? Can you throw behind the back pass? Can you dunk? They're not going to ask you any of that. But they're going to want to know, how are you a leader? You know, how are you as a teammate? Because when you go out in the working world, not everybody's going to be a superstar. There's going to be a few of you, but you've got to learn your roles and responsibilities. I had the opportunity to play football at Central for 4 years, and I started one game. But I knew my roles and I knew my responsibilities, and that's what I believe has made Teresa and I successful, is the things that we learned through sports about life. So I wish you all the best. Go Spartans, and good luck with the rest of your seasons this year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Travis, for extending that time. I think you're allotted that 30 minutes. So I am Coach Brown. I coach the baseball team. I did not go to Central College. Okay, so far this has kind of been, if you ain't Dutch, you ain't much kind of thing. But with that being said, I'm going to try to stick to my minute-and-a-half timeline because all you people at home, aka Todd Sankula, I'm going to give my minute-and-a-half time shout. I do want to thank Sarah Nolder because she's the secretary and she does a lot of this stuff. And by thanking her, I'm going to ask her to put me at the end of this program so that I don't have to follow wonderful speakers like that. With that being said, I'm here on behalf of the Todd Graves Memorial Baseball Award. Todd Graves was a stand-up baseball player. He was kind of unique from the research that I did. He did not play football, but he was one of the strongest, toughest kids in the school. With that being said, he was killed in a horrible farm accident. You know, we're kind of in an ag community. But long story short, he's no longer with us, but we honor him by giving out this baseball award. So we had 3 seniors, and I kind of picked up what he said, survival. You survived it. Well, baseball and softball are unique in the way that they're in the summertime and not many kids survive. Well, last year we had 3 seniors, and I want to commend Joe Jansen for being a senior, Jensen Clapp, and Cale Hendricks. So to have 3 seniors in baseball is a pretty big deal. Coach, I don't know how many you have for baseball or for football and track. You guys are loaded. But if you can get 3 seniors to stick with it in the entirety from Little League all the way through travel ball, whatever, it's a huge deal. And we had 3 tremendous seniors. But tonight we're going to recognize Cale Hendricks. Cale is the son of Dustin and Emily Hendricks, and he doesn't go to Central, he goes to Iowa State. I'm not sure exactly what Cale's studying, but when you have awards like this, you don't know, is it a award of merit, or is it a award of stats, or whatever? And in Cale's situation, statistically, he was rock solid, and his merit was rock solid as well. So please join me in recognizing Cale Hendricks.
All right, as most of you know, we did have a changeover in our softball coaches. Dale Bourne was the coach in 2020. Not able to be here tonight, so it is my honor to award the KC Kruger Softball Award. This young lady, without having a script in front of me, was a tremendous softball player. Put a lot of time outside of the season into the sport, developed her pitching countless hours throughout the year in different places around the state. So I am honored to award the KC Kruger Softball Award to Megan Beck. All right, Coach Lynch.
Coach Lynch. I coach the boys and girls cross country team, plus the junior high cross country team with them. I am here to give out the Paul Neer Outstanding Male Cross Country Award and the Tim Williamson Outstanding Female Cross Country Award. We had a great season this year. I couldn't be more happy with taking over midsummer when our former coach decided to take a principal's job, and it scared me half to death to take over. But with that being said, I got great kids, can't ask for anything better than that, but our male, outstanding male would be Kenny Day, and our outstanding female, Bella Wood.
Into this gym was, hey mom, don't go too long. And then my son says, I only get this baby once a year, I'm going to use it. But I just want to take this opportunity to do some thank yous. Just thank you to our Booster Club. You do so much for our athletes and our programs at our school. I just want to say thank you to Mr. Breithogle for supporting me and our volleyball program. I also want to thank Patty and Sarah for all the work that you do for our students and staff. You guys are the glue. Like, you guys keep it all together, so thank you. And lastly, I just want to thank our administration, our teachers, and staff. Your love and dedication to the students did not go unnoticed this year. Thank you for having school 100% in person. Thank you for allowing our students to play sports. It was so good for our soul and for our students. When the rest of the world seemed to be standing on shifting sand, you guys, you created solid ground for them to stand on. I know it wasn't easy, and I know we're not done yet, but we're almost there. So hang in there and know how much you were appreciated. Thank you, truly. And that is from a coach and parent's perspective. But tonight, it is my privilege to give out the annual Robert Krause Volleyball Award. I would like to take time to highlight this year's winner, Abby Hayman, by talking about her volleyball career thus far. She has put in a lot of extra time into the sport starting at a very young age. She has played on elite volleyball clubs over the years, which has propelled her career at Grundy Center. During her career at Grundy Center, she recorded 870 kills, 573 digs, 75 aces, and 7 blocks. Abby's senior year, she tallied 427 kills, which is second highest in a single season at Grundy Center. Her junior year, she was honored with first team all-conference, all-district, all-state honorable mention. Her senior year, she was honored with first team all-conference, all-district, second team all-state, and was named to the senior all-star classic team. I have coached Abby for 9 years, and I love her. She is a fun-loving kid who is playful in spirit. She has an energy and excitement about her which naturally draws people close to her. Did she drive me crazy at times? Yes. Did she have to get some tough love from me? Yes. But I love her. I love her like she's my own daughter. On the court, her ability to jump high with a wicked fast arm makes her so lethal and a very special player. Thank you, Abby, for giving so much to the Grundy Center program over the years. I believe you have developed strong roots with Grundy Center Volleyball, and I can't wait to watch you blossom at Kruger. Abby Hayman. And I did turn it off.
I thought you said you left it on. Most everyone knows me well enough knows that I probably don't need this, but I'm going to oblige and use it anyways. There are way too many thank yous for me to plow through the list here tonight. Adults in the room, thank you for everything that you've done to support our football program for the last 2 seasons. Administration, teaching colleagues, parents, Booster Club, my loving wife and my children. All of you folks, thank you from the bottom of my heart, assistant coaches and your spouses and your families. But before I get into the 2 football-specific awards tonight, I think it's important for me to recognize our most precious resource, and that's our young people sitting over there to my left, everyone else is right. It kind of hit me, I was wondering what was going to happen. It happens all the time, at some point in May, and it happened tonight because I was at the NHS induction ceremony before the banquet, this awards banquet, and seniors, you're almost done, right? Like can't wait, like vapor trail out the door on your last day, almost done, right? And seniors, whether you played for me or not, thank you for embracing me and my family and for everything that we've tried to do with the football program here the last 2 years. A couple of words for you to send you out. We'll still see each other in the hallways and stuff like that. I'll jump you about getting your masks on your face and things like that, like I always do. but enjoy your last few days. Like, seriously, enjoy them. Enjoy them. Some of you are so eager to get out. Enjoy your last few days. Soak it in a little bit, because things change when you're done. They really do. Be thankful, be humble, be Spartans. For the underclassmen in the room, don't wish your high school years away. They will go incredibly fast. Work hard, stay hungry, and have big goals. The first of two football-specific awards that I have the pleasure of awarding tonight. Their first one is called the Heavy Equipment Manufacturing Football Lineman Award. Giving love to the big guys, and I absolutely love it. This athlete is the most valuable lineman who is committed to the success of the football program and considers the team's success before his own. He has dedicated himself to his improvement as a player out of season as well as during the season, shows respect for coaches, teachers, managers, trainers, and teammates, respects the rules of the team and school, and considers it an honor to be a Spartan football player. This athlete is a junior or senior who has played football for 3 to 4 years. This year's winner of the Heavy Equipment Manufacturing Lineman Award has been one of our most consistent performers, regardless of position, over the past 2 seasons. He was a two-way starter his junior and senior year. He was vital to our success on the field, helping us establish a violent physicality on the offensive side of the ball and a lockdown presence as an interior lineman on the defensive side of the ball. Our district rivals and coaches in the area and across the state recognized his dominance in the 2019 and 2020 seasons with first-team All-State recognition by the Iowa Print Sports Writers Association and the Des Moines Register. He will continue his football career at NCAA Division II Quincy University. The Heavy Equipment Manufacturing Football Lineman Award is presented to Colby Muller. The second award that I have the privilege of handing out tonight is called the Deke Barron's Football Award. The criteria for this award to be considered for presentation is, number 1, a member of the varsity football team in good standing. Number 2, someone who displays good citizenship in school and in the community. 3, someone who has demonstrated good Christian leadership values. And 4, has demonstrated qualities of sportsmanship, cooperation, and dedication to the team. This year's Deke Barron's Football Award, this young man has been one of our most consistent performers at the high school level that I have had the privilege to coach. I've been around the game for 20 plus years now as a coach. Consistency is the key, and this guy brought it every single day and every Friday night. It seemed like his game improved from one week to the next. He was dominant, and we counted on him to do an awful lot for us. There was never a doubt that he was all in all the time to what we are trying to establish in our program. His attention to detail, care for his teammates, and love for the game are unquestioned. He's a leader, and he tries to do his best to get others to follow. Without a doubt, he'll be difficult to replace on the football field, but more importantly in our school hallways, classrooms, and the greater Grundy Center community. He was a multi-time all-district performer and all-state level football player. In my opinion, he's an even better kid. He will continue his football career at NCAA Division II Northwest Missouri State. Deke Barron's Football Award is presented to Wes Willis.
It's good to be back here. Finally, we get to do this instead of looking like a caveman last year on live computers. So thank you everybody for coming out tonight. I said, it's a good showing tonight. First, thanks to the Booster Club for everything you guys do for the programs at the school. Also, congratulations on the new inductees to the Honor Society tonight, and for the prior winners to awards tonight and the ones following the basketball awards tonight. So, just real quick here, it was a successful season, conference champions, co-champions, but overall something that hasn't been accomplished here in the Grundy Center for over 10 years. So that was a great way to end the season. So this year's award, Father John Cale Award, is represented in ideals of leadership, citizenship, overall dedication, character. And this young man represents those and always has. I've seen him he's come a long ways and has achieved a lot in the classroom. Any program, activity, anything in school that you can think of, he's been a part of it and has excelled at that. He was a huge part of our success in the basketball program. He was part of the sub-state final team the sophomore year. He was also a varsity, huge representative of our team as a junior, in anything you can think of, and also as a senior. Two-time second team all-conference basketball player, and the award just continued for the kid. And there's no question, as we go forward, and he continues to grow as a young man and an even better son, there's no question that he'll be a great dad, and he'll continue to lead everything he does. So this year's award winner for the Father John Cale Award is Wes Willis.
I have just a couple of acknowledgments before I give out the Joe Thielen Award for our girls basketball team. Booster Club, obviously, all the thanks go to everyone that is a part of that and everything that you guys do for us on a yearly basis, and more importantly, the generosity that you gave during our state tournament week. Very much appreciative, and the girls very much as well. Two other things. Just want to acknowledge what is done in the classroom. I think that is a very important piece here. We talk about athletics and the importance of what that brings, but the academic part of it is even stronger, and what you do when you leave this place, whether it's into the regular world awards into college. Jackie Keister, she was named to the 2020-21 ITC Academic All-State. And then also as a team this year, one of the highest awards that you can receive as a team is the Distinguished Academic Award, which is anybody on our team that is above 3.25 or higher, and that's 9 through 12 in the program. And together as a team, our GPA was an astounding 3.74. So, and so now with the Joe Thielen Award, which represents ideals of leadership, sportsmanship, citizenship, dedication, and overall participation. This individual is honored for the significant contribution she has made to the Grundy Center High School girls basketball program. This year's recipient obviously helped lead our team 19-4 record to a state tournament appearance, quarterfinalist. She's also a two-time first team NICL, was all conference unanimous selection, as well as all district and all region selection as well. Third team all-state selection from the Iowa Press Sports Writers Association, and had to deal with a little bit of adversity at the beginning of the year. And I think that's the biggest part that I was just really moved by, I think, is how she dealt with that. Had a little injury, worked herself back very, very quickly, and just the whole attitude that she brought with that during that time. And continued to work through that, but as she came back and played, what she was able to accomplish on the floor and off the floor and helping lead us in different ways was a huge piece. She had nine double-doubles out of 20 games that she played. Huge piece, and during key times stepped up, as many others on our team did as well. This year's recipient of the Joe Thielen Award is Lainey Thorne.
Hello, I'm Joel Reins. I'm the new head wrestling coach. This is my second year with the program, first year as head coach. I just want to start by saying a few thank yous to the Grundy Center administration and staff for all you do throughout the season. I want to thank all the parents of the athletes. I don't know how many of you know this, but we practice in the mornings. And to ask these guys to get down in Parkersburg at 6 a.m. is a tall task in itself. So, like I said, the parents, getting them out of bed, getting them to where they belong is awesome. And then last, just thank the Grundy Center community for all your support of wrestling. So, as a team, we had a dual meet record of 4-12. It's not quite what we wanted, but we are a very young program. We have a lot of freshmen and sophomores that are wrestling varsity. It's probably not an ideal situation for anyone, but they battled through adversity and became better and are improving so much. We also had 2 district qualifiers this year. One of them from Grundy Center here, Colby Muller. Huge. Another guy that just made great improvement over the year and throughout his career. Like I said, our program is on the right track. If we continue to grow and improve like we did over the last year, you're going to see some great things from our program. I can promise that. Now, to the awards. The Rauchman Memorial Award, okay, is awarded to the wrestler that scored the most points this year. That is Justin Canott. All right. Second award, I had him stay up here for a reason. And these two things go hand in hand, because this next award is the Robbie Senior Wrestling Award. Goes to the wrestler that leads our team in pins. Okay? Justin also wins this award. He led the team with 14 pins out of 17 wins. So he gets it done. Scores big points for our team. What can I say? I mean, he's huge leader for our team, and he's only a freshman. So, bright future right there. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is and I am the coach of the Grundy Center dance team for the last 14 years. I do want to take a moment also. I know this is just a great opportunity to thank everybody, particularly the Booster Club. I know that Vicki kind of read some of the things that they do to support all the different activities and sports. And for us, every year they do They buy our palms, which are like no big deal, but palms are made terribly and they don't last for like more than a year. And when you're at state and part of your score is like based on what you look like. So we're very appreciative of that. And they've bought our music for us as well, which again, if you think not that big of a deal, but in the licensure world of music, for like a minute and 50, we're talking like $500. So it's really awesome that they have helped to contribute towards us and the purchase of our state performance music. So thank you so much for that. Like I said, I've been the coach for the last 14 years, and it is my honor to present the Whitney Czechos Memorial Dance Award for the 2021 season. This year's team members include seniors Amy Cox and Mary Kruzner, juniors Brooke Liston and Anna Meester, sophomore Magdalene Driesman, and freshman Blessing Aditu, Hannah Koch, Sarah O'Donnell, Olivia Patrick, Jolyn Stahl, and Bria Steinmeier. I want to take a moment to quick highlight some of our accomplishments from throughout the year. We attended camp at home this summer because of COVID, and 2 of our dancers at camp received honor roll medals for their contribution and leadership, and there are our seniors, Amy Cox and Mary Kruzner. At the state competition in November, Blessing Aditu competed in the solo competition, receiving a Division I rating and, placing 20th in the state. As a team, we finished with a Division I rating in small school hoopla and 3rd place in class 4 pom. Additionally, the team was honored with the highest academic award. It is the Academic Excellence Award because our team averaged a GPA of 3.5 or higher. The Whitney Czechos Award was established following the tragic passing of a dance team member, Whitney Czechos, on October 11, 2004. This award was established to honor any upperclassman letter winner who has captured the epitome of a GCDT dance team member. And for those who remember Whitney, she had a great smile, lots of energy, was definitely one that would, persevere, laugh things off if it didn't go well. And so I always kind of look for, a lot of times, who is that person? Who is that dancer on our team? And we had 2 seniors this year, Amy Cox and Mary Kruzner, who came out for dance, not their freshman year. Amy came out her sophomore year, Mary came out her junior year, who had no dance experience. And so they persevered and continued to work hard. And it's amazing to me because I love that example of you don't have to be out for studio, you don't have to be dancing since you were 3 to be successful on the dance team. And those 2 have just been a great addition to the team over the last couple of years. And they both meet the criteria for this award. Be academically above average, exhibit dedication, passion, and ability toward dance, display leadership skills, demonstrate good citizenship and character. This award is determined in part by an administrator and teachers. The dance team members also play a part in the vote, as well as myself. This athlete represents the ideals of dedication, sportsmanship, leadership, and overall participation. This individual is honored for their significant contribution to the dance team. She has represented the dance team well, both on and off the floor. The recipient received high marks from her teachers and teammates. She averages an A- in the classroom, is involved in a wide variety of activities, and has developed strong characteristics that are appreciated by many. As a leader, she often is a leader by example. She's not overly vocal, but she comes ready to practice, ready to learn, and ready to collaborate. Her teammates this year awarded her Miss Achievement. This award is given to a dancer who works extremely hard on skills, technique, and choreography, is dependable, is organized, and rehearsed. Additionally, when it comes to her teammates, she is compassionate, understanding, open, and approachable. One of her teammates had this to say about her. She has helped to guide all of the underclassmen through all of the challenges of this year. She would also just show up to practice performances with all of the things that were needed and was willing to help, always having a great attitude. Whenever I would need help, no matter if it was dance or something else, she was there for me. I would like to award the Whitney Czechos Memorial Award this year to Mary Kruzner.
Good evening. My name is Jayma Johnson, and I am here representing cheer. Thank you, Dr. Doak, because you just had 1 year go right by my face while I'm sitting there, because I thought it had only been 13 years. I guess it's been 14. We did it 1 year together. Oh, you're right. So it has been 13. Okay, good. As some of you know, I had the honor of coaching Whitney Czechos. She was a freshman on our team, and I can attest to her wonderful smile and always being a light to our team. Also, Coach Doak was on my first team when I was coaching here in Grundy Center, so that ages me a bit. But I'm back at it again. So it has been 13 years. Thank you, Dr. Doak. It has felt really good being back at coaching again. This year, of course, was very different with cheerleading starting with online meetings. Eventually, that grew to outdoor practices. The girls learned right away that the difference between good and great lies within the little details. We accomplished the goal of perfecting our technique and adding lots of polish. Doing the little things right. And people started to notice. We appreciate all the kind words and support we get from our teachers, our coaches, and especially our fans. We have goals for next year to take our program even further. Tonight I'm here to present the Robbie Reynolds Spirit Award. I have the honor of knowing these ladies and the ideals that they stand for. This athlete demonstrates dedication, sportsmanship, leadership, and overall participation. This individual is chosen for the significant contribution made to the Grundy Center High School cheer squad. Our squad had many outstanding leaders. This cheerleader went above and beyond to help others and was fully dedicated to our program. She led by example with her positivity, maturity, and work ethic. This year's Robbie Reynolds Spirit Award recipient is Miss Chloe Prime.
All right, so most of you know that Grundy Center shares soccer programs with Gladbrook-Weinbeck, and as GCGR, we have a very challenging schedule. We travel from Decorah all the way down to Vinton, a lot of bigger schools around our state, but we continually put numbers out, and more kids from Grundy Center are joining that program, so that's positive to see. The Grundy Center Male Soccer Award criteria here real quick: in good standing with the soccer team in Grundy Center High School, academically an above average student, exhibits dedication, passion, ability, and demonstrated success in soccer, displays both individual and cooperative leadership skills, exhibits good citizenship, and exemplifies good character. And I can't think of a better recipient than this year's recipient, Trevor McMartin. All right, on the girls' side, again, we share with Gladbrook-Weinbeck, and this year's recipient, I'll just read what Coach the coaches have given us. Mandy Gilder is a local community member, and she had this to say. So over the 4 years, this player has demonstrated a passion, commitment, and love for the game of soccer. Since the first day she stepped onto the field, she is always striving to be the best player for herself and the best player for the team. She has made it her mission to contribute as much as possible to the program, whether it was participating in off-season workouts, participating in indoor programs, or being a leader on and off the field. Over the last 4 years, she has compiled a total of 30 goals and 15 assists. This year, she'll become a 4-year letter winner for the GCGR Girls Soccer Program. In 2018, as a freshman, she was named as part of the Iowa Girls Coaches Association second team All-District. In 2019, she was named as part of the Iowa High School Soccer Coaches Association All-State Honorable Mention team. The criteria for the Mackey Riesenberg Soccer Award: in good standing with the soccer team in Grundy Center School, academically above average student, exhibits dedication, passion, ability, and demonstrated a success in soccer. I am happy and pleased to give this award to Ms. Jackie Keister.
Coach Hendricks, I coach golf here in Grundy Center, and I've done it for a few years, more than 14. 2 years ago, that seems like in this old mind like 20 years ago, but 2 years ago we qualified for the Class 1A state championship held on a challenging Westwood golf course down in Newton. It turned out to be a rain-shortened one-day event, and where we came 3 strokes short of a state championship. We were thinking that Harris Lake Park had spent the night doing a rain dance, which included about 5 inches of rain, so the second day was canceled. And because the year before we had caught them from being 11 strokes down, and it was like deja vu for us. I mean, they knew we were coming for them again, and we were disappointed that we didn't get to play the second day. That's true. But at the same time, we were happy for Harris Lake Park because the year before when we caught them, they were happy for us. And so the team that year had a nice relationship with that team from Harris Lake Park, and it was a respectful relationship. And so when we walked away from that golf course that day, yeah, we were bummed we didn't have the opportunity to get the chance to try to catch them, but at the same time, we were happy for Harris Lake Park. Our team that year featured 4 seniors, and who between the 4 of them had 12 years of state tournament experience. Along with those 4, we had 2 freshmen who were stepping onto a state championship course for the first time in their high school career. These 2 freshmen were not in the least bit intimidated by that state tournament experience. The one, after the first day and for the tournament, the one finished in a tie for 8th place individually. The other was just 1 stroke back, and he took the 11th place individual medal in that tournament. That year, the seniors provided the leadership, and those 2 freshmen provided the firepower. In fact, the 2 low scoring averages from that year were held by those 2 freshmen. This year, we have 0 seniors. We have a squad of 14, and half of those 14 are freshmen. And some of those freshmen, when they entered our program, hadn't played 1 hole golf. So it was a learning experience for some of those kids this year. These 2 freshmen from 2 years ago that are now juniors have taken over that leadership responsibility. So what we had this year was, 2 veteran varsity golfers and a whole bunch of rookies that needed to find their way along the golf course. These 2 freshmen, 2 years ago, Aston and Dexter Whitehall, these guys are the real deal. They know how to play the game, they know how to build a team, and they're willing to take on that responsibility this year. We're lucky they play for Grundy Center, because in my mind, I think they can play for any high school team in the state of Iowa, no matter what class we're talking about. So, and if you wanted to talk about numbers and achievements, I could name plenty, but I'll keep it simple. What they've accomplished so far in their high school career is simply staggering. This year we moved up from 1A to 2A. We're the smallest 2A school at the postseason tournament.
We have numbers of 152 in grade 9 through 11, and the largest school in 2A this year is 284. That's about double what we have. So it's not important. We've teetered each year in the last 25 years. We teetered between 1A and 2A. So we've been to 2A before. We know what that's all about. What's important is, no matter what class you're in, as an athlete, you have to have yourself prepared when the postseason tournament comes around. Each year this award assembly happens in early May. And we still have a lot of season to play. We play tomorrow, we play Friday, we play Saturday. Next Monday is the conference meet, and then we start the postseason play. So this decision we have this year is the season each year is a difficult one. 2 years ago, Matthew Cernagan won this award. And last year, we didn't have a season, but we still awarded Aston Martin's the Royal M. Briggs Award based on he had the lowest season average as a freshman and his end of the season accomplishments. So Aston won last year. Over the years, I've been blessed with many talented boy golfers. And Aston and Dexter ranks right up with all those the very best in our program. They're both great ambassadors for our school. They're both great ambassadors for the game of golf. And you can't talk about one without the other one being in the conversation. They still have things to accomplish this year yet. And I can tell you this, their complete focus is on getting that team back to the state tournament up in Fort Dodge this year. This year's Royal M. Briggs Award goes to Dexter Whitehall.
Start off with thanking our Booster Club. You guys do so much that it just goes unnoticed, and I'm really appreciative that we can be here in person tonight, that we can be giving accolades out to our student athletes, and I couldn't honestly thank Sarah and Patty in the office enough. I don't know where Sarah is right now. I still have the big key. I'll get it back to you. But she knows how to find me, so we always figure that out. Our administration, our teachers, the golf program, we miss a lot of school on certain days. They have to leave early, or for our 18-hole meets, they miss entire days. So teachers have been fantastic about reaching out and making sure that our girls are, if not on track for the things they need to be on track with, that I'm aware that there's some things that we need to take care of. And it's just not easy to be out of the classroom this much during the spring sports. So thank you to all of those individuals that really help make these seasons possible for them. Tonight, I have the honor of presenting the Maxine Briggs Memorial Golf Award. The criteria for this award is for an athlete that is in good standing with the team and school. They are academically an above average student, a girl that has exhibited dedication and love for the game of golf, one who exhibits the traits and attributes that are inherent to the game of golf. Our award recipient this year far exceeds those expectations for each of those attributes. To be more specific, 2 phrases come to mind. This athlete not only takes, but she makes. She takes opportunities and she makes opportunities for herself. As I mentioned earlier, student activity schedules are incredibly busy. The athletes, however, this athlete goes far beyond for her own team. While this is her first year of competitive golf for the Lady Spartans, her dedication to the sport did not start this year. She takes opportunities by showing up for optional events such as the Grundy Center Junior Golf Academy, summer tournaments administered by the Waterloo Junior Golf Association. She's attended every clinic, every open gym, and she shows up not only physically, but she shows up mentally. Her schedule is busy, but when she comes, she's very committed to the time that she's there for. She goes above and beyond with her exceptional ability to reach out for guidance. The Grundy Center golf community goes beyond this year's team. It's a family of coaches and alumni that are willing to give back.
This year's recipient is one of the most self-reflective athletes that I've ever had the pleasure to work with. So when I say the second part, that she makes opportunities, she goes out and she seeks guidance, she asks questions, and she seeks opportunities that are necessary for her to reach her next level. She's committed to getting better, schedules extra practice time, reaches out for feedback, not just from her coaches, but individuals that she's built a trusted relationship with. Most importantly, she understands that setbacks are part of growth. She's not afraid of failure. So failure to her is an opportunity to learn, and she makes that cognizant choice to be mentally tough. Realistically, I could go on and on about the attributes that this individual has, but I'm very honored to present this year's Maxine Briggs Memorial Golf Award to our very own Miss Abby Lindeman.
Started. All right, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jess Larson. I'm the boys tennis coach here at Grundy Center. And tonight I have the distinct pleasure of presenting the award, the Mary Ellen Stock Award for the boys tennis team. So, as a first-year coach, I have a lot of thank yous to hand out, probably more than I can even recognize tonight. A couple special thank yous, of course, to Mr. Breivogel, helping me out as a first-year coach, answering a lot of questions that may seem insignificant to him, but helped me along the way. Of course, Patty and Sarah in the office, always pointing me in the right direction. Thank you, guys. Okay. This year, for those of you that have been following the tennis team, you know that we don't quite have the numbers to have a full tennis team. That has presented some interesting challenges for us, but the three fellas that we do have out have been willing to step up and meet the challenges that have presented themselves to them. They have put forth a ton of effort, and I couldn't be happier to be able to work with them on a daily basis. Now you would think that only having three fellas out on the team would make it pretty easy to select an award winner, but I found it to be quite the opposite. These three gentlemen could all be deserving of this award, and it made it very difficult to make this selection. However, when looking at the criteria for the award, dedication, sportsmanship, leadership, in participation, there is one athlete that stands out. The recipient of this year's Mary Ellen Stock Tennis Award is Jeffrey Harris. Say a couple things about Jeff before we let him sit back down. Okay? If those guys are going to embarrass me, I'm going to embarrass Jeff a little bit. Okay? Jeff shows up to practice every single day. In fact, most days he actually beats me to the courts, and he's warmed up and ready to go before I even step foot on the courts. Okay? He's an invaluable member to our tennis team, and we appreciate everything he adds. He's showed up, he's gotten better every single day. Especially his serve. This guy went from, at the beginning of the season, not being able to hit the ball on his serve, to developing one of the meanest serves on the team, earning him the nickname from coach, Jeffrey Danger. Trust me, you do not want to be on the receiving end of this guy's serve, I promise you that. So, Jeffrey, congratulations.
Center GR. The season has gone on pretty well. We have a lot of season left to go, and it's been a joy to have 15 girls out again this year, We have 3 seniors, Amy Cox, Ella Hummel, and Whitney Laube, leading the team, and they've done a great job. Right now our season record is like 3-4, but we play this Friday, and then we have a busy schedule next week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So we have a pretty intense week coming up. As I look at the year, I look at the award winner tonight. This girl has played tennis from her freshman year. She's done a good job. I have a tendency to make up acrostics, and I have a nickname for her, and I call her Wit. And so I made up an acrostic of the word wit to describe her. Number 1, the W stands for win. She wants to win, and if she does not win and doesn't play well, you avoid her for a while afterwards. Okay, I've learned that down through the years, and I've been able to do that. She played probably the longest match since I've been coach here at Waverly against their number 1 girl. Played an hour and 30 minutes for 2 sets. And the thing is she ended up losing that match, but it was probably one of the best matches I've seen. And my biggest compliment to anybody playing tennis is if I would pay money to watch the match, then it was a good match, and she did. And then she followed that up with over an hour match in doubles, and she did a great job. The H stands for heart. She plays with a lot of heart. I have not seen an athlete play in pain as much as she does, and she responds to that really well. The I stands for intense. She's shown extreme strength, being able to play with her back situation the way it is, and I've appreciated that. She's tenacious. She doesn't give up. She will go and charge the ball. She'll try to get the ball and hit the ball the best that she can. Definitely the Mary Ellen Stock Girls Tennis Award goes to Whitney Laube.
First off, I think it's imperative to acknowledge the student athletes that have persevered through a year unlike any other. Their patience and ability to stay the course has been inspiring. Their unfaltering character has shown through with the success that we've been able to maintain through this difficult time. Although there have been days that we've all just simply tried to survive, here in Grundy Center we took it to a whole new level and have thrived under uncommon circumstances. Much of that success is attributed to the character of the student athletes as they continue to develop, not only trust the process, but are starting to embrace the process. We've got multi-sport athletes all over the place, and we need to continue that trend. We need to continue to share our kids and truly support them in all their endeavors, especially in this time. The culture here, I believe, is at an all-time high, and I want to keep it that way. A special thank you goes out to Mr. Breifogel, the Booster Club, for continuing to support our dreams, ambitions, and willingness to constantly improve the infrastructure and the surroundings of our school and community so that we can continue to provide and deliver the necessary routine that these young student athletes deserve to reach their ultimate potential. Lastly, a huge acknowledgement and appreciation goes to the coaches. We collaboratively have continued to feed off each other, bounce ideas off each other, support each other, and work side by side to continue a great tradition of Spartan athletics. As I told the radio this spring, it goes hand in hand with virtually all of our programs. We got great kids. We've got great coaches that put in the time. The old adage goes, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, rings true. Our kids know how much we care. That willingness to get up early, 5 a.m. on some days, and stay late for each and every one of these kids does not go unnoticed by them or each other. And with that success, and with that maximum effort, the effort results in success. It is truly an honor to be a part of a school and community that celebrates the achievements of these young student athletes. I'm grateful to be here. I say all the time to anyone that will listen, us Spartans, we ain't going anywhere. Get used to it. As for the AV Deacon Award, I want to start by acknowledging the 40 young men who signed up for track this spring. To date, that's the highest number of boys we've ever had sign up for track and field. A very special shout out to Dana Schmidt, Scott Muller, Travis Zajac, Todd Roller, and Levi Ross. These men have been instrumental to our success this season, and with so many young men ambitiously joining the track and field team, to be a part of a culture that is built on effort, toughness, resiliency, perseverance, and unity, I can't thank you enough. We collectively, over the past 6 weeks, have won a total of 8 track meets, and are anxiously looking forward to the next 2 weeks chasing history as we are attempting to become one of only 3 Spartan track teams to win back-to-back conference titles, and the first one to win 3 straight district titles. This year's award winner has been a track star since he put on spikes. He's had elementary success, taking part in the Live Healthy Iowa Games, picture to prove it, and he lifted his team to great junior high success, sprinted right onto the scene his freshman year, and he was a key cog in our sprint relays, running predominantly 1s and 2s. He was a major piece of our sprint medley team prior to his injury. Perhaps the thing that sticks out with this year's award winner was that when he was injured, he offered to run on our team's 4x8 on district's night. Here, a sprinter that could not sprint offers to run an event that many are terrified to do so. He never had done it before, but wanted to help the team in any way he could. Sacrifice. Although he was full of anxiety, like always, he went out and ran an unbelievable 2:10-800. For those of you that don't know, that's pretty good. But to me, it goes to show you how much he enjoys track and field and how much he wants to help his team. Sacrifice is a term that continues to ring true with this individual. His sophomore year, he went back into the sprints and expanded his role into the 4s. He was a 2-time conference champion in the sprint medley and the 4x4 relay. He placed second in the 4x2 and was 4th as an individual in the 200 dash. At districts, he relayed up and was a 3-time state qualifier in the 4x2, sprint medley, and distance medley relay. Don't ask about the 4th event. As our young guys develop from underclassmen, hoofballs into leaders of our school community, you start to see a trend. This year's award winner was a giant part of our current culture. Although small in stature, he was explosive, and pound for pound is probably in the conversation for the strongest kid in our history. You never had to ask him to rise to expectations, rather he was usually among those that were setting a new standard. He lifted weights, participated in sports that made him uncomfortable, but would benefit in the long run. He sacrificed in the present for future reward. He failed, but then he rose. He's active, always looking for something to do. He's fun, he inquires and asks good questions. He's always willing to do more to get out more. He maintained a growth mindset throughout his career, always looking to improve. For track, he was always on the sign-up sheet for Dickinson relays and other indoors early in the season. He won for weeks, and he always wanted to compete. Last year, he would have went from a relay guy to a bona fide star. He did not get that opportunity, but he's making the most of it this year. He is second in our team in points and has been a dominant 200-400 guy this year. However, in true form, he is setting aside individual accolades to be part of some of our special relays. Sacrifice comes true again. He currently is the anchor of 2 of our top 10 relays, along with being a key cog in 2 more. He'll have plenty of opportunity to put himself next to some of the very best to don the uniform, and I look forward to watching his sacrifices finally pay off. This year's AV Deacon Award winner is Matt Jansen.
I'm Todd. I'm the head girls track coach here in Grundy Center, and I would also like to just echo my thank yous. Coach Conger, you did an amazing job of covering everyone, I think. Thank you again, though, Booster Club, administration, parents, athletes especially. Thank you for all of your sacrifices that you make. It's not easy to do the things that you guys do. You get up early, you stay late. Some of you compete in more than one sport at a time, and you know it goes a long way of saying how successful you can be. Every day, I just try to tell the girls, compete against yourselves. You know, the speech run true. At the beginning of the season, I tell the girls, you know, you're not all blessed with the same God-given talent, but you can all be your best. And so I'm very proud of all the 30 girls that have come out for track this year. We've had a very successful season. Hopefully we'll be very successful at the conference meet tomorrow night. So, with no further ado, I'm here to award the Harry Dole Girls Track Award. Criteria for this award are a member of the girls track team in good standing, leadership on and off the track, as well as participation in other activities. This year's award winner has been a multi-year member of the team. She has competed at the state meet in several events. And I would like to award this year's Harry Dole Award to Taylor Stahl.
Hey there, everybody. My name is Mark Faulkner. I'm the new choir director here, and first off, I just want to say that I'm honored. A huge thank you to Patty and Sarah in the office. A little nervous, lots of athletics here tonight. You guys have been great. But I am honored to be here. You know, coming in as a choir director during a year of COVID, singing with masks on, I like to think of it sometimes as like you're running with your shoes tied. So it's really been a year of adversity, and it's been a challenge. But there are two seniors that I have to recognize tonight that honestly I couldn't have gotten through this year without them. From the first senior meeting that we had before the school year started, where I awkwardly brought some Casey's pizza, and we sat 6 feet apart, and I'm like, so what's going on here? And so these seniors have really stood out to me across the school year. So I have two awards to award tonight. The first one is the National Quarrel Award. This is an award that goes to someone who has demonstrated superior musicianship, outstanding leadership, and personal growth in all aspects of the choral art. This is someone that was nominated as my first class officer by her peers. Someone that has helped me day in and day out when I'm trying to, still getting lost in the building, still finding things and where they are. She has helped me tremendously this year as we have gone throughout, and I could not be more honored to give this award to Amy Cox. And the second award goes to another senior that we have here tonight. I do want to just echo back to what Dean said at the beginning. Thank you for what you said. And being a performer is just, it's so different in some way. I was really lucky to go to a small school as well and be a student athlete and a performer. And a lot of the same things go into being in a sports team as it does to be in a music ensemble. But performing on stage, performing in a choir, there's an element of vulnerability that it takes that you don't get anywhere else. And this is a senior that is a champion of change. She transferred into Grundy Center her senior year during a pandemic, and she has gone on to be an incredibly stellar lead in our upcoming musical this weekend. She has given up her senior release time day in and day out to help me, I'm no artist, stencil on some of our sets onto the boards, to look at through costumes, to help me figure out what colors match, and I could not be more thankful for her. She has been my second class officer this year, and she has been just a joy to teach. The Iowa Choral Directors Association Outstanding Senior Award goes to Lily Bricker.
Okay, hello. just so you know, because a lot of you know me, I'm pretty chatty. I didn't write it out, so I'm going to read it so we do get out of here pretty soon. I didn't realize I'd be the anchor or the caboose, whichever one. My name is Sarah Wegman. I'm here as the Grundy Center Fellowship of Christian Athletes Huddle leader. However, FCA is an entirely student-led group. First, I would like to thank you, the Booster Club, for allowing me to recognize a few special seniors. Also, thank you to Mr. Vokes and our amazing administration for support, our Grundy Center FCA Huddle. They have truly opened doors, and for that, I'm really grateful. Some of you may be wondering if we even have a GC FCA Huddle since we have not met at all this year. We do have a GC FCA Huddle. We are hoping to reconnect and get a game plan for next year's huddle meetings and have a final huddle before the end of this year. The decision to pause for this year was one that was made with great prayer and lots of consideration. I felt it was in our school's best interest to limit additional extracurricular activities in hopes to have a normal school year with in-person classes and activities, and I'm really grateful that we've been able to do that. While some may not understand the importance of FCA, might I just explain, FCA exists to help our amazing Spartans understand the following. 1, your life has great purpose. 2, sports and activities are fun, but they will never or should not define your life. 3, our Spartans have more fans rooting for them than we could ever pack into this gym or even the Unidome when you aren't looking at COVID guidelines. FCA exists to encourage and help our Spartans dig into those 3 things and more. Our FCA student leaders lead our huddle meetings and help mentor and guide members. This year, 4 seniors had previously stepped up and agreed to be our senior leaders. Although our year looked different, I would still like to recognize them tonight. And if any of you have interest in becoming a leader for next year, please let me know. I'm going to be praying for all of you. Or if you have any questions about FCA, please do not hesitate to chat with me. Our 2021 student senior huddle leaders were Wes Willis, Chase Apple, Ella Hummel, and Amy Cox. And if you guys would come down, I do have a certificate for you. Shine bright, Spartans.
All right, so that about brings our night to a close. Just a couple things before we get out of here. As I said at the beginning, this last year has been a challenge. I mean, unlike anything else any of us have ever seen. But yet we're here, and we get to honor these athletes and these performers for a wonderful year. So I want to say thank you to our student athletes and performers. Our tremendous amount of kids are in multiple things, and I've said that every year I've been here, and I'm just thoroughly impressed with that. So thank you, students. Parents, thank you for letting our coaches work with your kids and take them on Sundays or late at night or early in the mornings. It's a lot of commitment out of you guys, and we couldn't do it without your support. To our Booster Club, fantastic support, not just for athletics. Anytime anybody goes to them, they consider it, and most times they say yes if it's financially feasible. So thank you to that group for making a lot of this possible. Thank you. The last thank you goes to our coaching staff and our sponsors. A lot of what they do goes unnoticed. A lot of what they do goes unseen. Not by me. I see it. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do for our kids and our community. We're done. Go Spartans.